It all started with a single post. Sara Bluma, already known to the public for her connection to Kenyaman, thought she was simply sharing a playful, harmless message on social media. The photo, paired with a caption that seemed innocent at first glance, suddenly spiraled into something much bigger than she ever imagined. Why? Because it wasn't just about her. The post mentioned Demet Özdemir. And for fans who have been following the tangled web of emotions, history, and unspoken truths between Can and Demet, this was more than just an Instagram story. It was gasoline thrown on an already burning fire. Within minutes, screenshots began circulating. Blogs picked it up. Tabloid-style headlines screamed, "Sara shades Demet?" or "Is Sara provoking Can's past love?" Social media exploded with speculation. Some claimed Sara was simply trying to draw attention to herself, others argued that the post was a deliberate jab at Demet. But what nobody expected was the way Can would react. Normally, Kenyaman is seen as the strong, controlled, almost untouchable star who doesn't let his emotions play out in public. His career in Italy is booming, his reputation is carefully built, and he knows the world is watching. Yet this time, something inside him cracked. Insiders revealed that the actor's reaction was immediate, emotional, and, for those closest to him, shocking. It wasn't just about Sara's words, nor about Demet being mentioned. It was about everything that post represented, a wound that had never fully healed, and feelings that had never truly disappeared. For fans, the moment confirmed what many had whispered all along, that Can's heart still beats faster whenever Demet's name surfaces. That their story, full of passion, misunderstandings, and silences, isn't over, no matter how much time has passed or how many other relationships came in between. Behind the scenes, friends of the actor claimed he was furious, pacing, unable to hide how deeply the post affected him. His reaction wasn't just a defense of Demet, it was personal. Too personal. And that's exactly why the story took over the internet in hours. Because in the world of celebrity gossip, the one thing audiences crave the most is authenticity. And Can's explosive reaction proved that even the most carefully guarded stars have raw, unfiltered emotions when it comes to the ones they once loved. The real question that everyone began asking was simple: why did Can react so strongly? After all, celebrities are mentioned, tagged, and gossiped about on social media every single day. They're trained to ignore, to move on, to keep the perfect image intact. But this time, the cracks showed. And for many, it was a sign that Sara's post hit a nerve far deeper than anyone realized. At first glance, Sara's words could be read as a casual opinion. But to Can, they weren't casual at all. To him, the post dragged Demet back into the public eye, into his world, in a way that felt almost deliberate. For years, he and Demet have tried to navigate the complicated aftermath of their rumored relationship. They never fully confirmed nor denied the depth of what happened between them. That silence alone kept the mystery alive. Fans still remember their on-screen chemistry in Urkency Kuss, their laughter during behind-the-scenes clips, the stolen glances that seemed too real to be scripted. And those memories haven't faded. So when Sara, the woman who is now seen publicly with Can, mentions Demet, it does more than spark gossip, it reopens old chapters. Chapters Can has struggled to close. Sources close to the actor whispered that he felt Sara had crossed an invisible line. She wasn't just posting for attention, she was awakening something he himself hadn't dared to confront openly. And that's why his anger was so intense. Not just anger at Sara, but frustration with himself. Because deep down, he knows the truth: Demet will always be part of his story, no matter how hard he tries to move forward. His explosive reaction wasn't only about defending Demet against perceived disrespect. It was a raw reminder of feelings he still hasn't mastered. What made things even more dramatic was the way fans responded. Hashtags began trending on Twitter within hours, hashtag Can and Demet forever, hashtag Sara back off, and even hashtag protect Demet. The internet had already taken sides, fueling the fire even further. Some accused Can of overreacting, of being too emotional for a simple post. Others praised him, saying his response proved that his bond with Demet was real, powerful, and unbreakable. This wasn't just gossip anymore, it had turned into a cultural debate, a digital storm where fans, bloggers, and tabloids all asked the same question: if Can reacted this way now, what does it mean about his true feelings for Demet? Behind closed doors, those closest to Can say his reaction wasn't just spontaneous anger, it was pain resurfacing. Friends revealed that when Sara's post came out, Can's mood shifted instantly. He wasn't just upset at the public nature of it, but at what it symbolized, that no matter how hard he tried to move forward, Demet's shadow followed him everywhere. And that shadow was something he both feared and secretly longed for. For years, Can and Demet's names have been linked like two halves of the same story. Fans don't talk about him without mentioning her, and vice versa. It's the curse, and the blessing, of their on-screen fairy tale. And though both have pursued separate paths, professionally and personally, they remain tied by the narrative that the world refuses to let go of. Sara's post only reminded Can of this truth in the harshest way possible. What makes the situation more complex is that Can has always been fiercely protective of Demet. Even when rumors swirled about her private life, even when tabloids tried to paint her in controversial lights, he never allowed open disrespect. His silence in the past wasn't coldness, it was control. But this time, silence wasn't enough. His voice, his fury, his body language, all spoke louder than any statement he could have released. Observers at the time said he looked restless, pacing, his usually composed demeanor cracked wide open. For Can, Sara's words weren't just about Demet, they were about trust. He had trusted Sara with the most delicate parts of his personal life. To see that broken, even unintentionally, triggered a storm inside him that he could no longer contain. Meanwhile, Demet herself remained silent, as she often does in the face of drama. But her silence, as always, spoke volumes. Fans analyzed her every move, every like, every story on her social media for clues. Was she hurt? Was she secretly relieved that Can still defended her so fiercely? Or was she tired of being dragged back into a story she had never fully been allowed to leave behind? The irony of it all is that Sara's post, intended perhaps to assert her own place in Can's life, ended up doing the opposite. Instead of strengthening her connection with him, it highlighted the unbreakable tie between Can and Demet. And that's why the backlash against Sara was so strong. Because in the court of public opinion, you can't rewrite a love story that still feels unfinished. As the days unfolded, the drama refused to die down. Italian magazines picked up the story, Turkish gossip pages dissected it, and international fan accounts flooded TikTok with edits comparing Can's furious reaction to his softer, unforgettable moments with Demet. It was as if the world collectively agreed, this wasn't just about a social media post, it was about a love story that continues to haunt them both. Sara, for her part, tried to defend herself. She explained in interviews that her post was misunderstood, that she never intended to disrespect Demet or trigger Can. But her words fell flat. For fans, the damage was done. They saw her as the outsider who dared to touch a story too sacred, too emotionally charged. Instead of gaining sympathy, Sara faced waves of criticism, and many claimed that her attempt to claim space in Can's world had backfired spectacularly. Insiders close to Can revealed that he later regretted how visibly emotional he had been. Yet at the same time, he knew there was no taking it back. His reaction was raw, real, and impossible to hide. And in an industry where stars are trained to mask their truths, that authenticity made him even more magnetic to his fans. But the real weight of the moment wasn't about Sara or even the backlash. It was about what his reaction revealed, that Demet still lives in his heart. Perhaps not in the same way as before, perhaps not with the same naive passion of their early days, but with a kind of permanence that time, distance, and even new relationships cannot erase. In the end, the story of Sara's post wasn't about rivalry. It wasn't about drama for the sake of drama. It was about love, memory, and the scars that remain when two people share something so powerful it becomes immortal in the eyes of the world. Kenyaman's explosive reaction reminded everyone that behind the fame, the cameras, and the carefully managed image, there is still a man who once loved deeply, who still protects fiercely, and who cannot pretend to be indifferent when Demet Özdemir's name is dragged into the spotlight. And maybe that's the real reason why fans refuse to let go of this story. Because they sense what Can himself has never said aloud, that some connections are forever, no matter how hard you try to move on. So while Sara's post may have backfired, while the internet may have turned the moment into yet another tabloid storm, one truth remains crystal clear. The bond between Can and Demet isn't just a chapter from the past, it's the unfinished story that keeps writing itself over and over again, every time their names collide.